Today we're going to make a very special traditional cookie called Speculatius. This cookie has been around for hundreds of years and it's very popular. It was originated in Norway, Belgium, and Germany. And it's a special cookie because it is, was made with some wooden molds many years ago. And it's filled with such wonderful spices like ginger and cardamom and cinnamon, nutmeg, all those yummy flavors. So we're going to make that today, and I hope you stay tuned. Speculatius, traditional, beautiful, delicious. Welcome back to Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas. My name is Doug. So we're going to make these delicious Speculatius cookies today. And these are such wonderful spiced shortbread cookies. And like I stated, they've been around for hundreds of years. I believe they were introduced around the 17th century, and by the 18th century, it became very popular. Today, these cookies are given to children around December 6th for St. Nicholas Tag. And St. Nicholas Tag is a special day when St. Nicholas comes and he brings little gifts and candies and cookies to children, and he fills their stock or their shoes with, I was going to say stockings, he fills their shoes with these delicious treats and little toys maybe, and kids just love it. And so I'm going to show you how to make it today, plus all the ingredients and supplies you're going to need. Okay, so let's start. You're going to need 1 cup of butter, which are 2 sticks. And what I like to do is I like to cut mine up into cubes like that because you're going to need your butter at room temperature. It has to be softened. Then you're going to need 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1 large egg. I'm using about approximately a teaspoon of orange zest, maybe a little bit more. And then we have flour here. This is 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, and then 1/4 of almond flour. 1/4 cup of almond flour. And then our spices, here we go. So we need 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice. We're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And I just put that all in this little bowl here. All right, so you're going to need a board that's going to be lightly floured and rolling pins. Now we're going to need a rolling pin to roll it out first. We're going to be rolling out our dough approximately 1/4 of an inch. And then we're going to do it almost like a rectangle. Then we're using this embossed roller. Now, if you don't have an embossed roller, that's okay. You can use cookie cutouts and just use it like that. But the embossed roller really is very traditional, and this has the scenes, the nativity scene on it. And sometimes embossed rollers, you can get it with St. Nicholas on it or Santa Claus on it. So that's also very traditional. Of course, you're going to need some baking trays and a cooling rack. And I believe that is it. So let's, oh, of course, a mixer. Don't forget your mixer. All right, let's start baking. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to first cream our butter and sugar together. Now, once we completely make the dough, we have to make it into a disc shape, and then we're going to put handy wrap or plastic wrap over it, and we're going to put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. It's very important that your dough gets a little firm so you can roll it out. All right, so let's start making it. All right, here we go. So I have my softened butter here. Make sure your butter is softened like I stated. And as I said before, I like to just cut up my butter in little cubes so it gets room temperature a little bit faster. And then we have our 1 cup of light brown sugar. Okay, we're going to cream that. So when you're creaming your sugar and butter, make sure you have it on a medium speed. And what you want to do is definitely scrape down the sides. I like to use a rubber spatula to do this. Just make sure you scrape down the sides. And make sure that butter and that sugar is well combined. Okay, that looks good. Let's get our rubber spatula. Yeah, that's creamed very nicely. Definitely want it nice and creamed. Scrape down the sides. And next what we want to do is we're going to add our 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. It's going to add such wonderful flavor. And then we want to crack our egg. Now what I like to do with my egg is I crack it in a bowl first just in case, because I don't want to get any shells in there. And as I just saw a little shell, see? That's why it's always good. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do. Just crack it in another bowl just to make sure. We're going to cream that now. We have this more on a low speed now, and I want to scrape the sides. We're also going to add our orange zest to this. That orange zest is going to give it wonderful flavor. I just love the way orange smells. Okay, that looks like it's mixed pretty well. And now we're going to be putting our dry ingredients together. Now when we put our dry ingredients together, we want to first put it in a separate bowl. So I have my 2 1/4 cups of flour, and I'm also adding my 1/4 cup of almond flour. And I'm just going to use a whisk to combine those 2 flours together. And you probably just saw Yvonne going into his office in the back there. And then we're going to add all our spices, all right, to that dry mixture. And just mix that in, once again with a whisk. Just like that. So everything is nicely mixed in for your dry ingredients. All right, so now we're going to gradually incorporate it into our wet mixture here. And I'm just going to put approximately maybe about 1/4 of the mixture, and we're going to blend that together. Very nice. I'm going to incorporate another fourth. Give it a little scrape. Scrape the sides a bit. And we're going to add another fourth. And then we're going to add the last fourth, just like that. Perfect. So we're going to mix this for about a minute or two. Just make sure it's very well combined. I'm going to scrape the sides one more time. We're going to make sure that's nicely combined. Okay, so my dough is done, and I'm going to, it's kind of sticky, so be prepared. You want to make sure you scrape out all that dough. I just use my fingers. Now make sure your hands are always clean when you bake or when you cook. Very important. Even if you're just doing it for yourself. And I have a very lightly floured extra board here where I'm going to start getting this dough. Can you see what it looks like? Perfect. And we're going to make a disc. Okay. Now we have to put this in the refrigerator. We have to put this in the refrigerator for at least an hour. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make a disc just with my hands, just pat it like this, and we're going to put it on, or put it in some handy wrap or plastic. So here's my plastic wrap. And you want to make sure it's nicely wrapped in a disc, just like that. Okay, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, like I said, for at least an hour. We'll be back. Okay, so we took our dough out of the refrigerator. It was in there for a little over an hour. And I'm going to place it on this floured surface. And what you want to make sure that you do is you have a floured rolling pin. And if you have an embossed roller, make sure you flour that also. And we're going to roll this to approximately 1/4 of an inch thick. Okay, I think that's good. So now what we're going to do is get our embossed roller, and we're just going to lightly roll it. Here's my pizza cutter, and I'm just going to cut these right along the lines. And then you want to be careful and place them on the baking sheet. Keep them about an inch apart. Okay, so they're on the baking tray. We're going to put them in the oven. It's 350 degrees and you want to put it in the oven for around 10 to 12 minutes. Now with this extra dough, we're just going to put it back in the refrigerator, and then we're going to roll it out again and continue making our wonderful cookies. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to roll out our dough one more time just to show you up close. And with our roller, we're just going to go right over it. Okay, you can see the embossed print. And then we're just going to go with our pizza cutter and cut around. Of course, you don't want the ones that got cut off. We're going to put over here for the extra dough. But you want to do a careful job. And the pizza cutter makes it so easy. I mean, you couldn't use a knife, but it would take you longer. And this extra dough down here, I'll put with here. Can you see that? Look how awesome that looks. And don't worry about the flour, because the flour will go away during the baking process. So don't try to brush it off or anything, because it'll mess up your embossing. And then you just get a spatula and start putting it on the cookie sheet. Very important that you have a well-floured surface for these cookies, because the dough can be a little sticky. And if you see your dough is a little too sticky, then just add a little bit more flour. But you can see that beautiful, look at that beautiful embossed print. 3 wise men, the manger scene, the North Star. Very pretty. So I'm going to finish up my dough here. Okay, so after our cookies have been taken out of the oven, you want to let them rest a little bit and then remove them and put them on a cooling rack. Make sure that they cool down completely. And then we're going to start to package them. So I have these clear cellophane bags, and I just love these because I think it just makes a really nice presentation. And if you're going to gift this, let's say to a child, this is a cute little boot. And I believe I got this about 2 years ago off of Amazon. You can look around for them. I think it's cute to put it in a boot like this. You could put it in their real shoes if you'd like, because this will be in a cellophane bag. But I think it looks really cute in here, and leave it out for the child on December 6th. And I think 5 is a good amount. So I'm going to get, like, let's say 5 cookies here. We're going to place them in the cellophane baggie. And just to let you know, these aren't large cookies, so I think 5 is a nice amount. And then it has this twist tie, so we're going to do a twist at the top, and then go with our twist tie, just to make sure it's secure. And then I have some ribbon here, just some red ribbon. We're going to probably do about 18 inches or so. And you're just going to tie it like you would a shoe. Shoestring, I should say. And just make a regular little bow here. And look how pretty that looks. But we're also going to add these little bells on here. I got these small little ribbon. They're like a ribbon and little bells for little embellishment. I got that off of Amazon. And what I used on my Stollen when I packaged my Stollen. I thought it would look really cute on these too. So look how cute that looks. We have our Speculatius cookies, That's how you would say it in German, Speculatius. And they're in a nice cellophane bag. We're going to place them in our shoe like this. And look how cute that looks. So imagine a child wakes up on December 6th expecting a little gift from St. Nicholas because they've been so good. And there's these delicious cookies waiting for them. Thank you so much for joining us today on Happy Healthy Living. Remember, if you want that homey vibe, you need to subscribe, and please give this video a like. Until next time, my friends, happy healthy living and Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.